I do work for Kenya Red Cross. I'm a public health manager. I do support sexual reproductive health rights and gender-based violence. And by extension, we do also support maternal and neonatal and child care within our operations. With me here, here with my colleague also who do supports us with our blood safety program. And by extension, this is because when you look at issues around maternal death, the major, its main cause is actually associated with issues to do with sexual productive health rights barriers. This could be from issues, things to do with access to information, access to, their rights around SRHR. And that explains why when you talk about this topic around postpartum hemorrhage, which is actually the number one killer of and the cause of maternal mortality, then the issue around blood comes in. Blood is actually the treatment to postpartum hemorrhage, and this is because one, whenever a woman presents to a health facility and delivers and ends up having a complication resulting from harmful traditional practices such as FGM, such as early child marriage, teenage pregnancies, all these have the potential of, resulting to postpartum hemorrhage. And this because this because of the complications that that result during labor. And there are many factors that actually plays a key role to its cause, as I had mentioned earlier. When you look at teenage pregnancy, a teenager who is pregnant during birth, they do experience difficulty in delivery. And this is because they have a small, or a narrow pelvis, and therefore it making it very difficult for the baby, to actually be given birth to. So as a result, they end up having tears, which in return ends up results into profuse bleeding. That aside, FGM is also another cause of PPH, and that explains why we categorize it as also traditional, harmful traditional practice. And therefore, there's a call for us to, even as we are addressing PPH through blood transfusion, we also do address the other social determinants of health, as I mentioned earlier. Now, we need blood because it's the treatment, because it's the main treatment for PPH. And for that reason, we need a lot of community engagement. We need to create a lot of awareness as to why a donation of blood is really important. Many of our women die, and most of our women, they're the ones who actually make close to around two-thirds of our workforce. And therefore, when you look at even at the employment and also the representation, you realize that most of the people who are actually, running most of our economic activities at the grassroots are women. And therefore, there's need for us to rally behind mobilizing to get this blood. There's need for us to, involve men in this and actually use them as allies of change and PPS champions so that they can also be able to rally behind blood donation. We also need to create a lot of awareness so that people can get to know the importance of blood donation, as I mentioned earlier. And this calls for a very robust community engagement. When I talk about community engagements, I'm talking about the grassroots organizations, the grassroots youth-led organizations, women-led organizations, and this also includes the local administration. There's a very, very important need for them to get to know the importance of actually donating blood so that we can be able to end PPH and eventually also reduce maternal mortality rates. I think that's what I want to mention for now. Over to you.
In terms of the quantity of blood, how much blood does the county, I don't know if you're working around the country as well, does the country collect, and what is the deficit and how does that affect us in the long run?
I may not have that information at the moment because, as Kenya Red Cross, our role is to actually alleviate suffering, and therefore this information majorly sits down with the Kenya Tissue and Transplants Authority, though they are our key partners whom we move with. But aside from that, whatever we do collect through our blood drives, we make sure that they are actually sent to strategic points. For this case, we have the likes of Pumwani, Kenyatta, the Mama Lucy Kibaki, and all the other level 5, including 4 and 6 health facilities where there is a lot of demand. Remember, we take blood where there's a lot of demand, and we know, as all of us know, looking at a maternal death rate of between 36 to 60%, I think that's quite very high. And therefore, that then means then that we have to strategically collect them and actually preposition them to the key places where they are needed and required. And aside from that, remember that there's also the issues to do with supply chain and the processing, again, which also quite takes a lot of time. And I think that's how I'll be able to answer you for that particular question.
Okay, last, is there anything else you'd want to say?
I think for me, I just want to encourage men to come out there to donate blood. And this because we are donating blood for our women. It's our women who are also taking care of us. It is us who are making them suffer. And therefore, we need to become heroes to be able to run for them so that we can be able to collectively advocate for and end PPH.